welcome to another episode of Cranial Diarrhea. I'm Tiff.
And I'm an old curmudgeon sitting in a chair.
What is a curmudgeon?
Look it up and tell me next week.
That means he doesn't know.
No, I do know.
I'll get you my pretty and your dictionary too.
Yes, and your book.
Yeah.
And your book. We've got a really cool topic tonight.
Yeah, I think so.
And why don't you tell them what the topic is, and then I want to give a lead into it.
Yeah, so tonight we're actually talking about possessions.
Yes, and as I researched possessions, I found out it's very important that you keep possession so your opponent cannot score, like Tennessee did tonight. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Yeah, keep possession of the ball.
I
Your
knew you were
opponent
going to be
cannot
insufferable.
score. Yeah, baby.
That's what you get when your dad's a UT fan.
What was the Vandy score?
0 class.
Oh, like Vandy score?
0 class.
I will say this. I still don't believe they're the best team, one of the best teams in the land, because they have no defense. But they did shred Alabama's defense tonight, which really kind of shocked me, to be honest with you.
I don't want to talk about this anymore.
How did Vandy do tonight?
I don't know. I couldn't watch the game because it was at the same time.
Let me refresh you. It was
doesn't
50
need
something to nothing. The show prep goes down. So back to possessions.
I don't want to do the show
Hey.
with you anymore.
I'll leave. She's getting so mad she's turning green.
So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to see on my end. I don't know. Maybe it'll come up better in editing, but let me try something else here.
Go back to the blue. That's cool. It kind of makes you look yellow. Blue and green make
Isn't-
yellow.
Not working well, but anyway, I'm green.
That's all
Can't
good.
tell, but
You actually can kind of
Maybe
tell
a little.
there's a difference in
Yeah.
pigmentation. Yeah.
anyway. So tonight we're going to talk about possessions. We're going to
Yes.
cover my half of the research because there's a lot.
Yes. So I'm just going to be quiet and listen, and I'm not going to interrupt, and we'll go through all of your research, and at the very end, we'll discuss.
Okay. It may take the whole episode to go through all of my research.
And that's because, in other words, I'm not feeling 100%. So if you hear snoring, I'm really paying attention.
So, my part of the research was to find well-documented possessions, and I think I've done that.
Like Tennessee's offense tonight.
So we're going to start. I came across the first documented case of possession in the U.S. I also have just a random one that I came across, and then I have 10 that were, I think there are 10. I didn't really count, but that were actually, there are movies based on these possessions, and then I came across what is known as the most horrific documented possession in the U.S. So we'll start with the first documented. So the first documented case of possession in the U.S., it's called the Watseka Wonder. I hope I'm saying that right. This case was so profound that the physician, Dr. E. Winchester Stevens, who witnessed the phenomenon, wrote a book documenting the case. So this happened in Illinois at what is currently known as the Roff House. That's R-O-F-F, Roff House. It was built in 1868. It was constructed by Asa Roff, who was the father of the family. The Roffs did have a daughter. Her name was Mary. Mary suffered through frequent seizures. As she got older, she claimed that there were spirits around her and that they spoke to her. As the years passed, Mary's spells became more and more violent. In one of her last and most violent spells, she was so fierce that it took several grown people to restrain her while she calmed down. Interestingly, at this point, she was really weakened, in a weakened state from a suicide attempt that caused a massive blood loss. After this episode, she remained delirious for 5 days and slept for many hours. When she woke, it said that she had gained supernatural gifts. These were described as heightened senses and the ability to read while blindfolded. Witnesses said that she actually read a sealed letter aloud that was in the pocket of A.J. Smith, was the editor of the Danville Times. Um, Doctors couldn't find reasoning for this, and she was placed in an asylum where she died in 1865. So, obviously, the house was built afterwards, and there are some conflicting reports. Some say that they lived in the house when this was happening, and some say that the house was built 3 years after. Um, so, after the house was built, the family began having seances. In addition, one of Mary's parents, Asa, her father, was a known member of the Odd Fellows. It was a secret society known for partaking in mysterious rituals surrounding the dead. There are speculations that the Roths' involvement with all of this was the catalyst for Mary's issues with the spirits. Um, so we have to go through all of that to get to the possession portion of the story. Okay, so there's the background for you.
Hey, you know what people said when they saw Mary's dad walking down the street? Well, there goes an odd fella. You laughed on that one. Was that a pity laugh because I don't feel well?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 1878, so over a decade after Mary's death, a girl named Laurency Venom, who was 13, lived in Watsika. Watsika? I don't know. I don't know how you say that. I'm sorry. She suddenly became ill and began having epileptic seizures, stomach pains, and claimed to see angels around her. Around her.
There was a baseball team that saw him in the outfield.
My nose is all stuffed up.
I hear that.
Even the Wicked Witch succumbs to illness. So the illness soon worsened. Hers, not mine. She spoke in different voices, took on personalities that were not her own, and at times became violent. Because this was during the height of the spiritual movement. Okay, that's creepy.
All right, next subject, please.
Because this was during the height of the spiritual movement, it gained rapid attention from those who were practicing spiritualism. Instead of placing Laurency in an asylum, her parents sought help from local spiritualists to investigate. Asa Roth was very...
There was a song named after them. Hey, Sir Roth, whatever. Sorry, I'm not supposed to interrupt. You sing it your way, I'll sing it mine.
Asa Roth was interested in Laurency's case because it was so similar to Mary's. He was convinced that Mary's illness was not caused by insanity, as the doctors thought, but that she had been touched by the spiritual world.
Her name was Mary Quack-Cherry.
He felt guilty about what happened to his daughter. Laurency claimed that evil spirits possessed her and were the cause of her violent outbursts. One of the doctors treating Laurency asked her to seek a more pleasant spirit surrounding her to possess her body. Laurency stated that Mary Roth was present and wanted to help. Witnesses were shocked. Immediately after possession, Laurency became calm and polite, a sharp contrast to her previous behavior. She literally took on the personality of Mary Roth. Laurency had never met Mary and had no knowledge of what Mary had gone through. She seemed to have intimate details of the Roth family. She was able to recognize them and knew the names of relatives of the Roth family. She was even able to recall personal possessions that the family had owned. The real interesting part is that she no longer recognized her own family and kept asking to go home, to the Roth home.
Who you be?
Asa, firmly believing that his daughter was asking to be with her family, asked if he could take Laurency with him, and the Venoms agreed. Laurency lived with the Roths for 15 weeks, and at the end of that time, she bid the family goodbye in a tearful departure that she had prophesied, and promised the return of Laurency upon her departure. As promised, Laurency returned without any further incidents. She eventually married, had a family of her own, and lived a normal, long life with no other illnesses. Today, visitors to the house claim to have had spirits taken over their body in a temporary possession.
That okay, so that brings up a question. If you're like dating someone or married or whatever, and they get possessed, are you cheating on the person you're married with if you don't know they're possessed by somebody else?
I don't know. I think maybe that's on a case by case
I think my
basis.
medicine's kicking in.
I can't breathe. I should have used my nose spray.
Nose spray. What's next?
So I do have a documented demonic possession. This one is it's just a random one I came across. So this is it's an unnamed woman, but they called her Julia.
Did Mandy have a problem?
It does smell like
Do you smell
poop.
like that?
It does smell like poop over here.
Oh,
I think you pooted.
I think your butt's possessed by the demons.
Or it was you and you're just trying to
It
make
wasn't
it.
me. It hit me, and I was like,
trying to be
"Whoa."
like, oh, it's the dog.
Yeah. Oh, it's.
Put that over there.
I got something.
Put that over there. Or you can wear it. That's fine.
It's Steven Tyler.
That's fine.
Hey, I'm like that guy in Henry Potter.
Henry Potter. It's the Wish version of Harry Potter.
I'm Dumbledore or whatever his name is.
This is the off-brand Harry Potter. Henry Potter.
I'm Henry Potter. This is my friend Dumbledore. I don't know what it is.
I look like Henry Potter. Anyway.
Black Bell of Dumbledore. Oh wait, it didn't spread out.
So this is about an unnamed woman. They call her Julia in this story. So she had a long history.
Too bad they didn't name her Gloria, because it'd been Gloria.
She had a long history of involvement with satanic groups.
You know, this is an improvement in my look.
You can't even see you. Satanic groups who wait, I lost my place. She had a long history of involvement with satanic groups, was observed by a team of priests, deacons, psychiatrists, nuns, some of whom had medical and psychiatric training, levitating 6 inches off the ground while objects flew off the shelves in the same room, according to Dr. Richard E. Gallagher, who documented the case. He wrote that the woman...
If I walked in and somebody's floating 6 inches off the ground, I'd be like, peace out, have a good day.
Deuces, I'm out.
Have a good day.
He wrote that the woman would go into trances. He stated that mentally troubled individuals often disassociate, but her trances were accompanied by an unusual phenomenon. She would spew various threats, taunts, and scatological, which means relating to or characterized by an interest in excrement or excretion.
Phenomenon.
Scatological language, phrases like "leave her alone, you idiot, she's ours," "leave, you imbecile priest," or "just leave." He goes on to say the tone of this voice differed remarkably from her own, and it varied, sometimes sounding guttural and vaguely masculine, at other points high-pitched. Most of her comments during these trances or at the subsequent exorcisms displayed a marked contempt for anything religious or sacred. This woman would have no recollection of speaking these phrases upon recovering from her trance-like state, according to Gallagher. Gallagher reported sometimes objects around her would fly off the shelves, the rare phenomenon of psychokinesis known to parapsychologists. She was also in possession of knowledge of facts and occurrences beyond any possibility of their natural acquisition. She commonly reported information about relatives, household composition, family deaths and illnesses, etc. of members of the team without even having observed or been informed about them. For an example, she knew the personality and precise manner of death, i.e. the exact type of cancer, of a relative of a team member that no one could conceivably have guessed. Gallagher said also she once spoke about the strange behavior of some inexplicably frenzied animals beyond her direct observation. Though residing in another city, she commented, "So those cats really went berserk last night, didn't they? The morning after 2 cats in a team member's house uncharacteristically had violently attacked each other at 2 a.m.
Phenomenon. She
requested a Roman Catholic exorcism ritual, convinced from the beginning of her consultation that she was under demonic attack.
Phenomenon.
Gallagher said the exorcism began on a warm day in June. Despite the weather, the room where the rite was being conducted grew distinctly cold. Later, however, as the entity and Julia began to spout vitriol, cruel and bitter criticism,
Phenomenon.
and make strange noises, members of the team felt themselves profusely sweating due to a stifling emanation of heat. The participants all said they found the heat unbearable. She at
Do you
first
know what the guy on the left side of the bed said? That girl is hot. Phenomenon.
I don't think so. She at first had gone into a quiet trance-like state after the prayers and invocations of the Roman ritual had been going on for a while. However, multiple voices and sounds came out of her. One set consisted of loud growls, and animal-like noises, which seemed to the group impossible for any human to mimic. At one point, the voices spoke in foreign languages, including recognizable Latin and Spanish. She only speaks English, as she later verified. The voices were noticeably attacking her in nature and often insolent, blasphemous, and highly scatological. They cursed and insulted the participants in the crudest way. They were frequently threatening, trying, it appeared, to fight back. Leave her alone. Stop, you really bad word, to the nuns.
Phenomenon.
You'll be sorry, and the like. She also exhibited enormous strength despite the religious sisters and 3 others holding her down with all their might. They struggled to restrain her. Remarkably, for about 30 minutes, she actually levitated about half a foot in the air.
You know what got stuck in my head from that story? That stupid song.
Yeah.
Phenomenon. Phenomenon.
So
Bum.
the next ones I have are all the ones that are movies based on possessions. But we're already like halfway through.
Yeah, but you're over halfway in your time, so
Yeah.
keep
what I'm
rolling.
saying.
I need to be really quiet then so we can get done, don't I? Okay.
Well, because I'm trying to read so fast and I'm messing up the words.
Okay.
Okay.
No more phenomenon.
So movies based on possessions. The Entity. This is about an unassuming home in Culver City, California, where it became the site of a vicious demonic attack during the early 70s. Doris Blyther, a single mom with 4 children and a troubled past, claimed she was being violently raped by ghosts. The events were dismissed by doctors who suspected Doris's alcoholism and abusive history led the woman to injure herself. A team of paranormal researchers, Dr. Barry Taff and Carrie Gaynor, later investigated the claims. They were skeptical but observed a series of strange phenomenon, bruising, orbs, unexplained activity that became part of an extensive report. Author Frank D. Felitta used Taff and Gaynor's findings for the basis of his book, The Entity. Barbara Hershey started the film adaptation of the same name in 1983. In 2009, Doris' son Brian Harris, who was 10 years old when the demonic activity was taking place, spoke about the attacks. The whole rape thing, this is him. This is his comment. The whole rape thing was real. My room was right next door to my mother's. I would hear the attacks happening, things being thrown, her screaming, and then she would come out of the bedroom and have all these bruises on her legs, her inner thighs, just like in the movie. There were times where we would see it in front of us. It was like if a man were standing in front of my mother and would start to beat her. Imagine a woman being beaten. You could see her being picked up and thrown around, sound slaps, but there was no one there to actually do it. We all felt it too, pulling, biting, and scratching. We were all attacked. Doris and her family eventually left the home. Future residents reported no strange activity, but Doris claimed spectral rapists still haunt her, influencing her thoughts. She also believed, brace yourself, she also believed she was impregnated by one of the invisible attackers.
This goes back to your research on getting freaky with ghosts.
I wonder what that baby looked like. I'm sorry.
You're wrong.
The next one on the list is The Exorcist, which is...
Yeah, that's kind of common knowledge.
Yeah. So we won't go into the common knowledge
The
on
green
that.
blood.
The other one is The Amityville Horror, and we all know the story behind that.
Mm-hmm.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose was fairly well known. Hauntings in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
The Devils. This one I didn't know about. So this was inspired by the provocative case of the 17th century Roman Catholic priest Urbain
Was that movie by
Grodier.
Rob Zombie? Did he produce that movie?
I don't know.
I just wondered.
And the Loudon possessions. A wealthy, well-connected, and handsome figure, Grandier was convicted of sorcery and burned at the stake after claims that he bewitched a coven of Ursuline nuns.
Nerds. Nerds.
Nuns.
Nerds.
I don't know what a nern is.
I thought you said nerds.
No.
Like what? Revenge of the Nerds?
The
I didn't know
women
that movie was based on that.
the women spoke in tongues, screamed, made obscene gestures towards men, and claimed they were pregnant and possessed. Thousands attended a public exorcism of the nuns, and his trial and execution further amplified the spectacle. The priest insisted he was innocent until the end. It's possible, due to his reputation stemming from several illicit relationships with women related to Loudon royalty, that he was set up. Let's see. This one was weird. The Serpent and the Rainbow. This is based on a nonfiction book of the same name, authored by ethnobotanist Wade Davis. The book studies the case of a Haitian man who allegedly rose from the dead and returned to his house almost 2 decades later. Davis's book supported the claim that the guy was poisoned allegedly by his brother over a land dispute with pufferfish and toad venom, which induced the appearance of death. He was buried quickly, dug up, and given datura, which is a strong hallucinogen which caused memory loss. He claimed he was forced to work on a sugar plantation like a slave and fed datura to keep him docile. When his enslavers died, his memory returned and he was no longer being drugged with the datura. He went home. Voodoo or voodoo, it's different. Practitioners didn't question the incident, believing his resurrection was a product of folk magic.
And all in all, he just
Um,
took a long nap.
The other one was The Possession. So this is based on an account of an allegedly haunted Dybbuk box. That's a wine cabinet auction. This particular one was a wine cabinet auctioned off on eBay.
What is a divot box?
I'm about to explain it.
Oh.
That reportedly once belonged to a Polish Holocaust survivor.
Divot was involved.
So a Dybbuk box is a Jewish wine cabinet claimed to be haunted by a Dybbuk, which is a disembodied human spirit that, because of former sins, wanders restlessly until it finds haven in the body of a living person.
Divot in golf when you take the grass out.
Dybbuk.
Oh, I thought you said divot. I'm sorry.
The survivor's name. Oh, I can't read that handwriting. Sorry. The box contained. You don't get to know her the name because I don't know.
Sorry, you don't get the conclusion.
The box contained 2 pennies from the 1020s, locks of hair, a statue engraved with the Hebrew word shalom, which means peace, a wine goblet, a dried rose, and a candle holder. Various owners of the box have reported paranormal incidents, including uncontrollable nightmares, strange smells, jasmine and cat urine, unexplained balding. Do you have a Dybbuk box?
They say no hair grows where action is always there.
Health issues, burned out lights, and more. Believing the object contained the malicious Jewish mythology spirit, the box was apparently sealed forever by rabbis and hidden in a secret location. The story centers on a young girl who is possessed by the Dybbuk.
Wouldn't it be really weird if you looked up the secret location and it was like your house? How cool would that? I mean, that'd be
Under the shed.
Really? You hid it at my house under the pool?
So I have one more movie.
You have 6
This
minutes.
is The Changeling. It's about a writer haunted by a troubled spirit at a secluded historical mansion.
It's really cool. You're smoking as you're talking.
Actually based on real events.
A choo-choo train.
The script was written by Russell Hunter, inspired. I think that says Hunter. I don't know. Inspired by his time living in the Henry Treat Rogers Mansion in Denver, Colorado. A noted playwright and musician, Hunter was drawn to the Rogers estate due to its impressive architecture and inexplicable low rent. Unexplained noises, poltergeist activity, and the discovery of a secret room and diary penned by a young boy was reportedly trapped there. Convinced Hunter to seek the help of a medium. Yeah. So there's that.
So he seeks the help of the area between 2 highways, a median?
Psychic medium.
Oh, medium. So he went to Sonic and got a medium drink.
Yes.
Those are really cool and really interesting. I mean, some of them we know about, but some of the other ones was really cool.
The
I
only
guess-
one I have left is the most horrific publicized case.
Do you want to? Can you get that done in 4 minutes, or you want to save that for next? Well, that was real ladylike. Okay.
Sorry. So, what do you think of what I've read so far?
I really think it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that for me, I don't know. I'm on the fence about possession.
There's definitely a theme. Are you kidding?
Oh, it's usually you. Oh, Vanderveer from work. Go ahead. There's usually a theme.
There seems to be a recurring theme of mental problems.
I kind of see that, and there's also some link into hallucinative additives on some of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of, yeah, I'm kind of.
Keep an open mind because we still have one
I
more.
try to keep an open mind, but I'm also like, I'm very analytical, and the analytical side of me says some people are just strange. But I'm
People
not.
are strange when you're a stranger. Faces look.
Yeah,
You
you
can't
forgot the
remember.
words. But I'm not. I guess I'm not saying. I guess maybe what I'm saying is I'm not in tune with this type of things. I'm not a what do you call it? Like a emotional, feely.
You're not
What do you call it?
spiritual.
Well, I am spiritual. I mean, I'm a practicing Christian most days. We all have slips
Slip-ups.
Nobody's perfect, but
Wise words from Henry Potter.
yes. Beware, my child. Okilaminus poluminus. I don't know. That means beware of Henry Potter. I'm Henry Potter. What's that, 6 wishes or 4? Do you feel lucky? Huh? Do you?
No.
I'm Henry Potter, and I'll be back. I'm Henry Potter. Yippee-ki-yay. Well, I won't finish that one.
Motherfucker.
Whoa! So, what do you think? I want to hear your opinion. You're always asking for my
These
thoughts.
are really out there.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Very out there.
But I will say this: it was kind of funny when we first started, and Vandy kind of growled.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
creepy.
that shook you a little bit.
I think if you're gonna believe in the spiritual realm or what, like you kind of have to believe, like they kind of go hand in
But
hand.
do you? I mean,
Yeah, I think so.
because I mean, and I'm not, but
you don't believe in it,
you know,
so
well, I believe in God and I believe in the Bible. And
yeah,
I
but
think
you don't
it
believe in
teaches-
like demons walking around and shadow people.
No, but I've had some farts that smell like they might have come from somebody dead.
It was you.
No, that wasn't me earlier. I would have took credit for that one. That was a good one. And I do know that you need to keep the possession to beat your opponent. Mark the words from Henry Potter and Dumbledore. I just called myself Dumbledore. I didn't mean to. I meant to point that way.
No, it's pretty accurate.
I'm Henry Potter. Hey, that was a pretty good accent. I'm Henry Potter.
No, it's
Hey, I'm Sherman Potter from MASH. Oh,
okay.
I don't know. I just, I guess to put a final spin on this, I would have to say those were very interesting stories, but I think they can be explained.
Okay, well, we still have one more. For next, we'll do it next.
Yeah, we're going to do a second.
Yeah.
It'll be a smaller segment. It won't be 30. It'll probably be like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But we're going to do that next. So we're not going to say bye on this one. We're using some new software that daughter found, so it only allows 30 minutes. And unless y'all want to pay for it, we're just going to split it in 2.
Cheap.
Because in the words of Harry Potter, homonymous, pachynomous.
Okay.
That means semis mono.
check out part 2 in 15 seconds. Click
Or
on
don't.
the link.
If you didn't watch part 1, you won't know about
Or
part
don't.
2.
Up to you.
It's up to you.